Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation to get your thoughts in. We begin with security concerns. Lawmakers in Benue State are concerned about how the government forces have reacted to the killings at intervals in the state. The president's call calls it rather vile and satanic. Those are the words of Mr. President. Let's analyze this further. Emmanuel Okeje from Buruku Federal Constituency in Benue State and Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business joins me from our Abuja studios, as well as Tubosum Bolarinwa with me here in the studio. I want to thank both of you gentlemen for coming on State of the Nation at this time. Let's begin with you, Honorable Okeje in our Abuja studios. You are one person who first voiced out on these killings in Benue State when it got to fever pitch last year, asking that the herdsmen be disarmed. Are you satisfied that the government has heeded your call almost a year after carrying out weapons mop-up in almost all, if not all, the states in the country?
No, definitely not. Gimba, it was after that call that you had on January 1st, 73 persons mowed down in one day. And subsequently, we have had hordes and hordes of killing. In fact, at a point, if only 4, 5, or up to 10 persons are killed, sometimes it looks to me like the news media will even ignore it because it's no longer newsworthy. It has to be from 20 or so before it becomes news. That is the extent to which people are being killed. Since the Civil War, I don't think Benue people have been so violently killed as in the last 1 or 2 years. And so that speaks volumes about whether the herdsmen have been disarmed or not. Definitely they have not been disarmed. In fact, if anything, they are getting more ferocious in their attacks than ever before. So to answer directly, I'm not satisfied at all that anything has been done to slow down or even eliminate this. And this is happening in spite of the so-called Ayemo Kwatema that is going on in the state. You have the military on ground, and yet this is the time that people are killed more. The attack in Logo was in an IDP camp, in a church. People had gone there, refugees had taken, IDPs had taken refuge in a church, and they went and mowed them down. One would expect that in a church or in an IDP camp, at least you should have security guarding the place. But what do we have? They are exposed.
Let me come in here since you've mentioned.
I'm not satisfied.
Of course, I would like to also remind you that Operation Cat Race has been largely declared as unsuccessful, and that operation has been stopped. But the attack in Logo, where that Catholic priest, those Catholic, 2 of them were killed and 17 other worshippers murdered, as you just mentioned rightly there. And also we had some killings in Agatu. This has raised questions of true intent by the government forces in stopping these killings. That, as a matter of fact, pushed the House to summon Mr. President to appear before it. What does the House hope to get out of Mr. President, do you think?
Let me quickly make a correction. Even though a church was attacked in Logo, the one where the church where 2 priests along with 17 parishioners died actually took place in Balom, a community called Balom in Gwe East local government. It's a different attack. The one in Logo is different from the one in Balom, Gwe East, where 2 with 7. You know, the idea was that, you see, sometime in 2016, the House, through a resolution, called on all the security chiefs in the country to appear before them and indeed rub minds as to how exactly this insecurity across the country could be curtailed or if not eliminated. At the end of it all, or beyond that, or after that, rather, I should say, the attacks continued, the insecurity continued. So the president is the chief commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the chief security officer of the nation. So I think it is better that he should come and tell us, because even if after the National Assembly said they were dissatisfied with the way the security chief or the security situation in the country is concerned, nothing seems, no consequences as far as the president is concerned. So he should come himself and tell us what exactly is going on and what he has in mind, the plans that he has in mind to curtail what is happening across the country and in Benue in particular.
Mr. Bolarinwa, let me get your thoughts about this. Do you think that enough is being done to contain these excesses and killings in Benue especially?
Thank you very much. Before that, as a matter of principle, I would like to condole with all the people that lost their lives in a very, very horrible manner. It is unacceptable. Some fathers don't have children again. Some children are now orphaned. And it is so sad again that where they were running to seek refuge, there is no safety for them. Coming back to your question, if enough is being done, we wouldn't have been where we were in the last 48 hours or 72 hours per se. Enough is not being done, and it will be wrong for any government or any security agency to start even going in that direction of discussing whether they are doing enough or not. People are being killed every day as if we have full-scale war. A reverend father is being beheaded. The question is, are we calling this the right name? That is the question we should be calling. We should be asking now. If you are having headache and you are complaining of stomach ache to the doctor, you're not going to get the right medication or treatment for it. So are the people going into churches to behead reverend fathers and killing people still fighting for landing grace, grazing land? Or do we have the extension of the security threat we have in the Northeast?
What do you think it is?
Spreading. I personally don't think headsmen will go into church to behead people. I think there has been some sort of mixture of the perpetrator of this act.
So what do you think? What do you think the Deputy Governor of Benue State was trying to say when he says he thinks that this goes beyond farmer herders killings and all of those crimes that's been perpetrated? What's he trying to tell us?
To be honest with you, we have insecurity in the country before. We have terrorism that we have not been able to quell, just like any other part of the world where terrorism is taking place. The question that we now need to ask is that as terrorism spread from the Northeast to the rest of Nigeria, are we now facing terrorists? Maybe in addition to herdsmen, or terrorists has managed to find their way to infiltrate the Benue State and start committing terrorism acts. Because, like I said, I'm also a cattle breeder, and I know the importance of having a land to graze. I don't think, I personally, as a matter of principle, don't think I want to disagree with anybody that wants to say the recent killing that is taking place in Benue State is something to do with headsmen and grazing land.
All right, let's get back to you, Mr. Okejev. Now, the Benue State House of Assembly is taking a couple of days off because of those killings that we saw, especially to do with the two priests that were killed and 17 other worshippers at that time. What do you think that the governor will be telling the House members at the state when he appears before them, because they want him to give them a report on what is actually happening? Why are people being killed to this time in Benue State? Is Benue State continually on the siege? Why the choice of Benue, for instance? What do you think the lawmakers at the state level will be watching out to hear from the governor?
Well, this is democracy in action. The governor is said to be the chief security officer of the state, even though he does not control any security apparatus, strictly speaking. You know, but who can they run to? They cannot call on the president to appear before them. The state assembly cannot do that. It's only the National Assembly that can do that. Let him go there and tell them the efforts that he has made, his limitations, and what he intends to do within the circumstances that he finds himself. So that is that. He has to go there and do, because he is accountable to the state assembly, just the same way the president is accountable to the National Assembly. As for why the state is targeted, I wish I knew, but I guess it's because from analysis and from what you've been hearing, some of them say the Benue Valley is very nutritious to these cattle. So the cattle, you know, they are valued over and above human beings there. Benue State is seen as the food basket of the nation. That is how Nigeria has named Benue State. And yet, as we speak, over a week back, I was at the IDP camps, and I met with the SEMA boss. SEMA is the State Emergency Management Agency. And he told me that officially you have 175,000 people in IDP camps. And these are the ones that are recognized by the agency officially. There are some people just go to the next available churches or primary schools or wherever they can find themselves. These are not counted. The official ones are 170. So when you have that number who are basically farmers staying in IDP camps, what do you expect to happen at the end of the day? We may well have famine on our land, have hunger in the land, because Benue State is basically an agrarian state. So that is the situation we have, because we have to make way for this cattle to take over Benue State. It's sad.
Okay, let me get your views, Mr. Abolariwa, because some security experts like yourself have indeed hypothesized that there is a conspiracy of silence against the people of Benue State. Do you stand with that conspiracy theory?
If we look at the body language of what is coming from the executive wings of the government, it will be very, very easy to want to tilt towards that side of school of thought. But at the same time, we're talking about security situation. Whatever is happening in Benue now is not new to Nigeria. We've dealt with serious situation in Bama. The only problem I seem to be having with the system is that we are becoming more of a reactive nation than a proactive nation. We've seen this coming. The Benue State people are not being attacked in this. The cost of food, agricultural product in the next 2 years is going to be attacked if those who are going to farm in Benue are unable to go.
Okay.
So in the area of conspiracy of silence, well, I will want to wait and see the response of Mr. President to the National Assembly before I can know how to answer that.
Okay, that's a good place to go on a short break. We'll take a short break now. But when we return, we'll focus again on the call by some members of the National Assembly to impeach Mr. President for the purchase of the Tucano aircraft. Stay with us.